Hello friends, today we are studying chemistry for class 12th, first chapter unit cell. Today our topic is unit cell and crystal lattice. First we discuss about the unit cell. Unit cell is the smallest repeating unit in solid that gives whole crystal lattice on repeating in three-dimensional space. So what is the unit cell? It can be explained by an example when we consider a wall. It is made up of small bricks. When these bricks are repeated many times, we get a complete wall. For this wall, a brick is unit cell. When this brick is repeated many times, we get wall. In the same way, the smallest repeating unit in solid, when repeated many times in three-dimensional space, we get a crystal lattice, is called unit cell. Crystal lattice, the three-dimensional arrangement of constituent particle in space, is called crystal lattice or space lattice. When solid is formed or crystal is formed, we can consider it is made up of small particles. These particles are denoted by dot or point. These points are called lattice point. When these lattice points are joined by line, we get crystal lattice. Again, we explain what is the difference between unit cell or crystal lattice. Unit cell is the smallest repeating unit on repetition that gives a whole crystal lattice when repeated in 3D space. And the crystal lattice, the arrangement of constituent particle in three-dimensional space, is called crystal lattice. It can be explained by this diagram. In this diagram, we are denoting unit cell. Dark red colored dot explain the unit cell. This is the unit cell. When this unit cell repeated many times in 3D space, we get a crystal lattice. This is the crystal lattice. In this crystal lattice, unit cell is repeated many times and we get a crystal lattice. This unit cell repeated many times, we get a whole crystal lattice. This is the unit cell. And when this unit cell repeated many times in 3D space, we get crystal lattice. Another example is, it is graphite. This is unit cell, first unit cell. When it is repeated along the y-axis, we get a column. When these unit cell repeated along the x-axis, we get a wall-like structure. When these unit cell repeated along the z-axis, we get a complete crystal lattice. It means unit cell is the smallest repeating unit which gives whole crystal lattice on repetition in 3D space. And crystal lattice is the three-dimensional arrangement of constituent particles in space. This is the 3D figure of unit cell or crystal lattice. This is the unit cell. You can see here, this is the smallest unit. When it is repeated many times in 3D space, we get a crystal lattice. This is the crystal lattice. We can see it is a crystal lattice. Again, it can be repeated many times and we get a complete crystal lattice. Now it is clear the smallest repeating unit is unit cell, and when these unit cell are arranged in 3D space, we get a crystal lattice. This is the crystal lattice. Now, parameter of unit cell. There are 7 types of crystal lattice, a crystal system. These crystal systems can be identified or recognized by the parameter of unit cell. Parameter means characteristics. These are the characteristics of unit cell. For example, in human being, there are some characteristics. For example, in your class, who is the intelligent boy? So you identify that boy because this is the characteristics of that boy. He is intelligent and you recognize him. You see a picture of a person and you can recognize him. We say who is the best batsman in cricket. You identify it is Sachin Tendulkar. In the same way, the parameter helps us to recognize a crystal system or unit cell. There are 6 types of characteristics or parameter of unit cell. First, a, small b, and small c. Small a, small b, and small c. These are the 3 parameters. These are the length of core along the x, y, z axis respectively. A, B, C are the length of edge of unit cell. And other 3 parameters are alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha, beta, gamma are the angle between these axes. It can be explained by this diagram. In this diagram, there are 6 parameters. First, A. It is the length of core or edge along the x-axis. B. It is the length of edge or core along the y-axis. And C is the length of core along the z-axis. The first 3 parameters are A, B, and C. Alpha is angle between B and C. Beta is angle between A and C. And gamma is angle between A and B. These are the 6 parameters of unit cell: A, B, C, alpha, beta, and gamma. By these 6 parameters, we can divide crystal system in 7 types. There are total 7 types of crystal system on the basis of parameter of unit cell. In this picture, we can see first simple cubic crystal system. This is in syllabus of 12th class. Simple cubic crystal system. In simple cubic crystal system, A is equal to B is equal to C. All length of core are equal and angle between them alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree. This is the simple cubic crystal system. In tetragonal, A is equal to B but does not equal to C. Alpha, beta, gamma all are equal to 90 degree. In orthorhombic, A does not equal to B, B does not equal to C, A does not equal to B, B does not equal to C. All 3 edge length are different, but angle alpha, beta and gamma is equal to 90 degree. On the basis of these 6 parameters, we can divide crystal system in 7 types: simple cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, hexagonal, rhombohedral, monoclinic and triclinic. Now, the type of unit cell. How many type of unit cell are present? There are mainly divided into 2 parts. Unit cell has divided in 2 parts. There are 2 type of unit cell mainly: primitive unit cell or centered unit cell. There are two types of unit cell mainly: primitive or simple unit cell, centered unit cell. Only 2 types: primitive or simple unit cell, centered unit cell. Now first, primitive unit cell. Primitive unit cell. The unit cell in which constituent particles are present only at corners of unit cell is called primitive or simple unit cell. In this picture we can see constituent particles are present only at the corners. This is the cube and cube has 8 corners. We can see here blue colored dot are present only at the corners. It is the simple cubic unit cell, simple unit cell or primitive unit cell. In primitive unit cell or simple unit cell, constituent particles are present only at the corners. Another picture, In this picture, we can see the constituent particles are only present at the corners. Constituent particles only present at the corners of the unit cell. Therefore, it is a primitive or simple unit cell. Understand? Simple unit cell or primitive unit cell. The unit cell in which constituent particles are present only at the corners. This is the definition of simple or primitive unit cell. The unit cell in which constituent particles are present only at the corners is called simple or primitive unit cell. Now, second type is centered unit cell. In centered unit cell, constituent particles are present at the corners as well as at the other places in the unit cell. Understand? In centered unit cell, constituent particles are present at the corner but as well as present at other places in the unit cell. Primitive unit cell, constituent particles are present only at corners. But in centered unit cell, constituent particles are present at corners as well as at the other places. The centered unit cell is the unit cell in which constituent particles are present at corners of the unit cell as well as other places in unit cell. Centered unit cell can be divided in three parts. First, face-centered unit cell, second, body-centered, third, end-centered. First step, face-centered unit cell, second, body-centered unit cell, and third, end-centered unit cell. First, we will discuss face-centered unit cell. In face-centered unit cell, constituent particles are present at the corners. We can see here yellow colored dot are present at the corners as well as constituent particle are present at the center of the each face of unit cell. It is the cubic unit cell. In this cube there are 6 faces. So 6 constituent particles are present at the center of 6 faces of the cube. Therefore it is a face centered unit cell. In this unit cell, constituent particles are present at the corners as well as at the each center of the each face. Therefore, it is face-centered unit cell. Understand? What is the face-centered unit cell? The unit cell in which constituent particles are present at the corners as well as at the center of the each face of the unit cell. In this figure, we can see yellow color dots are present only at corners and pink colored dots are present at the center of the each face of unit cell. Therefore, it is a face-centered unit cell. In this picture, we can see this is the face-centered unit cell. Constituent particles are present at corner as well as at the center of the each face. We can see here at each face, center of the each face, constituent particle is present. Therefore it is face centered unit cell. कॉर्नर पे present है particle and each face के center पे भी present है. Therefore it is face centered unit cell. What is the definition of face centered unit cell? The unit cell in which constituent particles are present at the corner of unit cell as well as at the center of the each face of the unit cell is called face centered unit cell. Second, body centered unit cell. What is the body centered unit cell? Body centered unit cell, the unit cell in which constituent particles are present at the corner as well as one particle is present at the body center of unit cell. In this picture we can see constituent particles are present at the corner but one particle is present at the body center of the unit cell. We can see here in this picture constituent particle is present at the body center of unit cell. Corner पे तो present है, साथ ही साथ कहाँ पे present है? At the body center of unit cell. Therefore it is body centered unit cell. In body centered unit cell, constituent particle are present at the corners as well as one particle is present at the body center of unit cell. It is called body centered unit cell. It is the definition of the unit cell. The unit cell in which constituent particles are present at the all corners of unit cell as well as one particle is present at the body center of the unit cell is called body centered unit cell. Next type, 3 type of centered unit cell. First face centered, second body centered. This is the third end-centered. In end-centered unit cell, constituent particles are present at the corner of unit cell in red color dot, but as well as particles are present at the center of two opposite faces, only two opposite faces, not each face, only two opposite faces. In end-centered unit cell, constituent particles are present at the corner of unit cell as well as the center of two opposite faces, only two opposite faces. In face-centered unit cell, constituent particles are present at the center of each face, all faces पे होते हैं. But in end-centered unit cell, constituent particles are present at corners as well as only at the center of two opposite faces. Only two opposite faces पे हैं, देख लीजिए. So it is called end-centered unit cell. What is the definition of end-centered unit cell? The unit cell in which constituent particles are present at all corners of unit cell as well as at the center of the two opposite faces is called end-centered unit cell. Therefore, now we have four type of unit cell. First, simple or primitive unit cell. Second, body face-centered unit cell. Third, body-centered unit cell. Fourth, end-centered unit cell. So these four possibilities are in 7 type of crystal system. So we have total 14 Bravais lattice. How many Bravais lattice? We have total 14 Bravais lattice. In these are the 7 type of crystal system. Each crystal system has 4 type of unit cell, but it is possibility, not surety. For example, in cubic we can see there are only 3 unit cell: primitive, body center and face center. In cubic system, simple unit cell is called SC. SC means simple cubic unit cell. Body centered unit cell is called BCC, body centered cubic unit cell, and face centered unit cell is called FCC, face centered cubic unit cell. In cubic system, only 3 possibilities. Tetragonal, in tetragonal there are 2 possibilities. Orthorhombic there are 4 possibilities. Therefore, total